Chapter 504. Isn't it strange? If the food is potentially harmful, wouldn't one naturally avoid it from the outset? Priscilla Fontaine, who had been silently observing the situation thus far, approached Pruel and asked with a smile, "Even with your age, it's hard to believe that someone who's attended gatherings like this multiple times would make such a mistake. It's quite worrisome." Anyway, for the sake of the other guests, shouldn't we examine the food, as Baron Ale suggested? Her ability to speak in circles while appearing ignorant was truly remarkable. The eyelids of Baron Dermond, who could not treat her like one of the ordinary cavalry members because she was the new successor of the Taine family, fluttered slightly. Maintaining a far more polite demeanor than he'd shown when addressing Pruel, but not entirely hiding his displeasure, he spoke. "It seems the heir of the Taine family, who hasn't even been bestowed the title of Duke yet, is already very interested in external matters." "Do you really think it's such a concern? Baron Dermond, your understanding of what constitutes interest in external matters appears to be unusually broad. Is it because you frequently go falcon hunting and thus have expanded your horizons?" The falcon symbolized the Diarca ducal house. At her subtle dig connecting the Diarca and Dermond families, the Baron's expression turned sour. "I'm not sure what you mean." "What meaning could there be? Words are merely words. Misinterpreting intent and harboring doubts is not advisable. By the way, Baron Dermond, I heard for the first time today that you are unwell, and you indeed don't look well. Are you sure you should remain here?" Someone near Priscilla chimed in with a subtle smile. Ydir recognized him as a person from a family closely affiliated with the Apeto ducal house, someone he had often clashed with in his previous life as well. Seeming to decide to side with Taine as tensions appeared likely to arise between the Diarca faction and Taine, he extended a supportive hand. "The young and new hero from the west is not wrong, is he? If there is really something wrong with the food, who could eat it, especially in the Imperial Palace?" "Didn't I say that's not the case? I never claimed that the food in the Imperial Palace is problematic, nor am I so unwell that I need immediate treatment." As Baron Dermond grimaced at the situation not going his way, others behind him began to chime in, defending him. Ydir quietly turned his head at the sight. He locked eyes with Priscilla Fontaine, who was speaking to Pruel while holding her arm. ... After a brief exchange of glances, Ydir slightly bowed his head first. A small smile crept onto Priscilla's lips. Initially, she had seemed far less warm and more pragmatic compared to Pruel and Nipelin, but that smile clearly showed their shared lineage. Even though the Taine family had publicly sided with the Emperor this time, it couldn't have been easy for someone who had not yet received even the Duke title to take such an official stance at an event like this. However, judging by the look in her eyes as she spoke to Pruel, it wasn't hard to guess why she had stepped forward. "Ydir, are you all right? Are you hurt? Speak up if something feels off." "I'm fine." As Baron Dermond conversed with other nobles, the elder siblings stealthily approached from behind and whispered in hushed tones. Ydir assured them he was fine, but worry still lingered on their faces. "Really? You never say you're unwell even when you are. How can we trust you?" "You should be honest, especially in a place like this." "I am fine, truly. Do I look unwell?" "No, you look perfectly healthy. See? So relax. If you want to laugh, just laugh." The elder siblings had been concerned when looking at Ydir, but had also been suppressing smiles when looking at Baron Dermond. Finally, they covered their mouths and let out genuine laughter. To be honest, when Ydir drank that, the Baron's expression was so hilarious that it was hard to keep a straight face. I guess he thought Ydir would be too scared to drink it. There is a limit to how ridiculous you can be. He should have some of this drink himself. Ydir had been planning to do just that. He looked down at the glass in his hand, gauging the atmosphere around him. The disdainful glances directed at the cavalry members remained, but the mood had changed significantly since Ydir had taken a sip. Whispered comments reached his ears, even from Baron Dermond, who had recoiled from a cup Udir had extended, denigrating him as no different from ill-mannered commoners. Raising one's voice against those considered low was not considered ridiculous among them. However, showing even a hint of confusion or weakness was. It was as though they were a pack of animals, all puffing up their fur to avoid showing their tender underbellies. Merely by accepting the invitation to share the drugged drink, Udir had managed to drag Baron Dermond and Duke Diarca's entourage into his level. If I assure them one more time that I'm fine, it will be a good time to offer another drink. Baron Dermond knew the drink had been spiked with a stomach drug and would not touch it. Udir planned to defiantly drink another glass in front of him and then summon those who would truly investigate the matter. Just as he was relishing the capture of his prey, he felt a gaze crawling up the back of his neck. Turning his head, he saw Keol, fidgeting like a dog needing to relieve itself. Alternating glances between Udir's face and the drink he had consumed, Keol's eyes were rolling frantically. It seemed as though he realized it was a trap set by his father. His continuously blushing face and incomprehensible mutterings were somewhat amusing, but Udir decided not to bother deciphering them and shifted his gaze. Surprisingly, it landed on Prince Kashtian, sitting on a staircase platform beside him. ... Kashtian looked at Udir with a curious smile, his half-lowered eyes and tilted head revealing emotions he couldn't hide. Instead of displeasure, the Crown Prince showed blatant curiosity towards Udir, who was rebelling against his own power base in Diarca. A brief yet eternal moment passed, and Udir averted his gaze. It was a natural move, as if he had never seen the Crown Prince to begin with. Enough. Then, as if he had been waiting for this moment, Duke Diarca put down the glass he had been holding and spoke. Though his comment was brief and had not raised in volume, there was an odd weight to his words. Instantaneously, everyone, including Baron Dermond, fell silent. Even the cavalry members, who had been whispering insults under their breaths, clamped their mouths shut, startled by the sudden gravitas. What could be the point of a day meant to celebrate the Empire's escape from danger being so marred in a memory? Perhaps it would be best to put an end to things here. A few people tensed their shoulders at the sharp sensation that discreetly yet effectively prickled their skin. Several nobles who had been pressing Baron Dermond began to retreat, tongues clicking in disdain. Dermond, however, seemed visibly invigorated. It was just the opinion of one person, but it was as if everyone agreed. Such was the gravitas of Duke Diarca, something that the nobles of the capital had grown accustomed to acknowledging. However, Udir had no intention of letting the matter conclude as it stood. Does that mean, sir, that you're suggesting we halt the investigation into the food and drink consumed by Baron Dermond? The atmosphere among the nobles suddenly turned icy once again. Duke Diarca's gaze shifted to Udir. The Duke bore an appearance that could, if adorned with a long beard and aged a few more decades, seem sagely and even more personable. With an inscrutable expression, the aging Duke smiled. I too was well aware that Dermond hasn't been in the best of health recently. There was assuredly no issue with the food. Duke Diarca, who effortlessly confirmed the rumor about Dermond's poor health was something he also knew, slowly lifted the corners of his lips. If we deem there to be a problem, we can always set the food aside and investigate later. It's not too late.